What's going on, guys? Back at you again, and we're gonna go right through week 16. And like I said to my Patreon guys, sorry I couldn't get on. I had a lot of stuff going on yesterday. The last thing on my mind was NFL picks. I just wasn't thinking about that. But I did have my picks already written down. Not that that helps anyone, but I just wasn't able to get on screen. But yeah, we're gonna do the same way we always do. Go right down the list. I had KC beating Pittsburgh and covering that. I had Baltimore also covering and winning on that. I just couldn't see those other teams beating them on the national stage, standalone game. Now they're going to let their star players shine. That's like watching Michael Jordan at on Christmas, or Michael Jordan on like some holiday. They're not going to let Michael Jordan lose. You're not there to watch Jordan lose. You're there to watch Jordan excel and do what he does best. So if you thought those teams were going to lose on that day, nah, it wasn't going to happen. All right, tonight we got Seahawks versus Chicago. I'm not going to be able to see too much of this. I got some other stuff going on. Unless I get lucky, but I don't think I'll be able to catch too much of it. But based on what I was looking at and numbers, I think Seattle's probably going to win this one. All right, next I got the Chargers versus New England. I got the Chargers winning that one. Then we got Denver, Cincinnati. I got Cincy winning on another playoff push. This will be the fourth year in a row or something that they're doing this late year push where they start off slow and have to work their way back. It's possible he's gonna have to win out with some help, but it's possible. But I'm picking Cincy to get it done. Next, we got Arizona versus the Rams. Arizona shot themselves in the foot. They were in the playoff race and they just lost some bad games that they should have won, including last week. I think Los Angeles solidifies their playoff run and wins this game. Then we have Indy versus the Giants. I'm going to go with Indy because the Giants are playing for a draft pick. They've already made it clear they're tanking, and they have the number one pick. Winning this game is just the stupidest thing they can do. They would never do it. They've been in this position before, and we see what they've done. They've gotten first round quarterbacks twice when they've been in this position, right? For the first was Daniel Jones, and before that was Eli Manning. So they follow a pattern, and this will be the same. So I got Indy winning. Next, we got Raiders versus New Orleans. This is another hard game to watch. So Indy, New York, that's a bad game to watch. Same here. Raiders, New Orleans Saints. This is going to be a tough watch, especially if neither quarterback has their starting quarterback in there. And even if they did, you know what I mean? How good is Aiden, or what is it? I forget the dude's name. I don't know. His name escapes me. But their quarterback versus Derek Carr. Derek Carr is not that good. And Minshew, Gardner Minshew. You think Gardner Minshew is gonna really light it up for the Raiders? No, no one's gonna watch Minshew or Derek Carr. So that's gonna be a tough game. But I'm going with the Raiders. I guess I don't feel good about it. It can go either way. I'm going Raiders. I don't know. It's probably gonna be the Saints, but who cares? Like, no one cares about these teams. All right, next, Tennessee, Jacksonville, another stinker. No one cares about these teams. These teams stink. And that's what, six teams where six quarterbacks haven't panned out, or just just a complete miss. So with this, Trevor Lawrence is a huge disappointment. Paid the man $200 million. I mean, he's still young enough that you can hope that he bounces back with a better coach, maybe, or another coach. But Will Levis, man, I don't know what the hell is going on through his mind. But he's going to be a backup for years to come, and you guys already know why. Next, we got the Jets versus Buffalo. I got Buffalo winning this one. I don't trust the Jets, but every time I pick against them, they seem to win. All right, next we got Carolina versus Tampa. I kind of want Carolina will win this. So, because I want Bryce Young to bounce back, that's a good story for him. But I think Tampa's going to win this game. Next, we got Dallas versus Philly. I got Philly winning. Dallas winning games is stupid. Like, why would you hurt your draft choices? Oh, maybe because it's already set and rigged. That should tell you guys something. Like, why are these teams that missed the playoffs trying to win games? Like, seriously, it doesn't make sense. Oh, we don't want to lose our jobs. You're going to lose your job anyway. You missed the playoffs. You're here to at least make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. That's what your job is. If you miss that goal, how do you explain keeping your job unless you're in your first year, or you're in a complete rebuild like the Patriots or something? Like, no one expected the Patriots to even win a game. So if that coach gets fired, that would just be kind of messed up because no coach would have won games with that team. That's just one example. So, yeah, I got Philly winning. Next, we got Miami versus Cleveland. I'm going to go with Miami to win. And then, even though, guys, I don't really like Miami in the cold weather, that's why I'm hesitant about it. Like, Cleveland, guys, don't be surprised if Cleveland beats Miami just because Miami is just not able to play in that weather. Because it's going to be cold up there in Cleveland at night. Is this going to be a night game? No, it's going to be an afternoon game, maybe. It looks like. I don't know. I got to look into that. Actually, I can look right now. Excuse me. It's going to be at 4 o'clock, so the sun's going to go down, guys. It's going to be a cold day, cold evening. That's going to be a 3-hour game, so yeah, it's going to get cold up there, guys. I don't know. I'm going to stick with my pick, but I'm not going to be surprised if Miami stinks up the joint in the cold. All right, next we got Green Bay versus Minnesota. This is going to be a good game. I picked Green Bay to win just because Minnesota, they've already got enough wins, and they probably want to let Green Bay in as well. It's probably going to be Chiefs versus Minnesota or Chiefs versus the Lions. And then Mahomes is going to beat the best team in the league. That'll be his next moniker. And he'll do it the next year after that. He'll be the first 4-peater, so he can be the best ever. And then he'll have 5. Like, I'm looking too far down the road, but, I mean, we've seen this movie before, guys. Like, we have. What do I have left? So, yeah, we picked Green Bay, and now we got Atlanta versus Washington. I'm picking Atlanta. I think they're going to let Michael Penix look good these last few games like he did last week to close out the season and get his team to the playoffs. They're going to showcase their best quarterbacks. And also, stay tuned for them to make the playoffs a little bit bigger. Half the league is going to be allowed in because now they're at 14. Why not just add another 1 or 2? So at least half the league makes it. It's the better half, you'll say. The better half makes it. The worse half is they go back home. But if they I don't know, man. They can do a playoffs and include every team, but I know that would take long. And as like consumers, we would want to see as much football as possible. But that'd be so much for them to do. I don't think that'll ever happen. But I do see them adding another team or two because it makes it more interesting. It adds more money to the pot. And they can broadcast more of their quarterbacks. But that's probably going to be a few more years down the road when we get more quarterbacks in circulation. Probably after this draft class or the one after. Who knows? But I do see that happening. So I'm picking Atlanta to beat Washington. Washington also got their comeback win last week. So I don't know that they'll make them do an ass whooping twice in a row, I mean. And Washington, they've clinched a spot, I believe. So they can lose now and win next week and be fine. Atlanta needs to win out. That's why I'm picking them. Last, we got Detroit, San Fran. I got Detroit winning. I don't trust San Francisco. I told you guys at the beginning of the year I didn't trust this team. I don't trust Brock Purdy. I thought that he was doing well because people didn't have film on him and they didn't have time to prepare really as much. Now they did. They've had 2 off seasons to really see what he struggles with and look at the game film of the games that he lost and extensively study those films or that film. And that's what teams have done, and they're just exploiting that. Like, you can't pay this man. This man's a backup. Sometimes a backup can come in and have a good start to his career until people have him on tape and they try different things and they see what works. And we also see that he can't play in cold weather. Well, not cold weather, in wet weather games because his hands are small. He can't grip the ball, so that means he can't drive the ball down the field as much in those types of games. So that means you can't really depend on him all the time. So now Kyle is back at square one. He needs to find another quarterback because this guy ain't gonna beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, let's face it. If you're here just to win football games, okay, get him, sign him. But if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you're gonna have to get a guy that's in that ballpark range. Whether that's through the draft and you finally build a guy into that, or you trade for that. If San Fran doesn't find that soon, their playoff championship window is closing, and it's closing in a fast way. Because these young kids have come in and taken this league over, guys. And I think you guys can see it. We all see it. But other than that, guys, I'm going to pick Detroit to beat them, and we're going to leave it at that. Don't forget to join me next week, and we'll do I think it'll be the last week, right? Yeah, the last week, and then we'll go to the playoffs. And again, we'll use Madden again to figure out who will win. Probably Mahomes again for the third time in a row, but who knows? Right? This will be our fourth or fifth year doing it. And we've been right every year because of Madden. So we'll keep it going, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to join me next week.